I'm live! Right now I'm talking to people of the future. And I suspect that I'll be speaking to people of the future for quite a while. Because I didn't tell anybody I was going live.
This might answer your question. According to Wikipedia, Navadius Damoon Wilburn, better known by his stage name Future, is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, and record
Alexa,
producer.
stop!
Born.
Okay. Hello, Blackcraft27. Good to see you on. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Okay. Control++. That gives me the boost up window. Whoa! Way more people than I thought. Hello, Rodney Pope, Stanley S., Misty Jazierski, Ken Zarich, Michelle Schulte, John C., Christine Salvati, Ellis Fire, South Omaha Horror. Good evening. Hello, Paul Bennett. Sons of Wayne, Tutworks Studio, Anaxadamun. Pops on the Tube, Sarah R. Hello. Sean Davies. Fieldwalker Mask. Hello, Scotland. Mike Cherzanowski. Scott Coiner. Hello. Chad Smith. Rob O'Brien. Horror Beauty FX. So, hi, everybody. I am figuring out, making sure that that is good. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure I was going to be on tonight either. Oh, you know what? No, that's an old title. We're not going to have any trap jaw action this evening. I forgot to change the title because this is my first time making a video on YouTube. So you have to forgive me. Trap jaw action was last week. Which that mask is done, and over there at this point, see that green thing? Sarah, that's awesome. I'm glad you got a shirt for Christmas. If you like it, I'm glad. If you don't like it, then, well, now you have to start liking us just to justify your Christmas present. I did have a wonderful holiday. I think a lot of it is peace of mind. Different holiday than I had planned. You guys are going to get some hot pumpkin head action. How's that sound? Way better, right? That creakiness is I got a new camera clamp because this is not exciting, but for you guys, it's not exciting. I had to bounce different heads. It's a little clamp on a little squiggly neck. But I have, different holdups. But yeah. All right, so this is Pumpkinhead. The title is old. Someone tell Paul Bennett that it is not a... And in a flurry of glitter, cobwebs and candlesticks appears. Hello, it's good to see you. Yes, but the title is old, guys, so I'm very sorry about that. It is an old title from the last video that I did. That is not a current title. So you guys will be able to see right here. See this lip? This perfect indent? Something obviously fell or ran into this. Yes, I did lie to you. That's right. Trapjaw was just a lure to get you here. I'm doing the old bait and switch with some Pumpkinhead action. I do have to grab some clay, and I have to grab my sculpting tools. I'm right over here. I haven't left you. Thou art not forsaken. I have to say that a lot. Hello, Mr. Jimmy. Yes, it's just me, so I'm largely unsupervised, and therefore you're going to get plenty of weirdo mustakis. Do you guys want to see me and the sculpture, or do you guys just want close-up of the sculpture? Which one is better? Sometimes you want to see the person talking to you. Why don't we do that? Because YouTube yells at me if I'm not in the frame. They're like, hey, your audience wants to engage with you, but they can't even see you. I'm like, Fat Hand is here. Fat Hand fulfills all of their desires. Fat Hand blocks the action. It has its own organic form. Yeah. Both. Okay. Yeah, I think a little bit of both. And then we'll move you in for sculpture as the time comes, right? Well, they're both Fat Hand. Both of my hands are Fat Hand because they get in the way. Whenever I'm trying to film something or I'm trying to show you guys something, it's like whatever hand is doing it is in the way. Because it's in the way. You don't get the detail shot that you want. You get a big old fat hand. It's like, watch how I do this eye crease, and then I do this, and you saw nothing because, yeah, fat hand. We're gonna push the envelope here. Oh, I should get some glasses. I don't know where my glasses are. Yep, fat hand. That's it. Yep. I know I have glasses over here. Ooh, got a pair. Hello, Mike Dunez. That's right, Fat Hand is famous. Well, I got some video-related things like the aforesaid clamp. I have also been flirting with a second hobby of forging, so I got some things in order to do a little bit of forging. I want to make some tomahawks and things, and I would like to do some foundry stuff where I make brass handles and things. I would like to one day make a nice monster chess set out of brass, but I think that's many years down the road, like a mythological chess set. But all monsters. And you know what? If maybe just say like one thing that you got for Christmas, because there might be some folks on who didn't get anything for Christmas. I don't want them to feel bad. I love that some of us are in shape to be able to do that, and some of us are not, and that's okay. It just means we're at different points on the path. Yeah, I want to play with it. I'm not good at chess. I'm just, I think I should be good at chess, but I know that I'm not very good at chess. I'm too aggressive for chess. Like, they want to play the long game and stuff, and I'm like, no, kill your enemies. Have them driven before you. Hear the lamentation of their queen. That's how I play chess, which makes you lose, by the way. In case you're wondering how that strategy pans out, it's pretty terrible. I am about to use a silicone tip sculpting tool. That is awesome. I'm filling in that dent on that lip. So now, because I did a patch, I have rather firm clay in some spots, and then in other spots I have really hard clay. So I gotta, you know, now I have to use very different pressures. Yeah, I think I'm going to build a little lean-to outside in order to put my forge stuff, because that is something that's going to take up some space, but also I want to put it in places where it won't catch my house and shop on fire. I do not like spray paint as a release, and if your clay is water-based clay, hello Jones, what's up, buddy? Yeah, it's just me in here right now. If your clay is water-based clay, you don't actually need a release. But also, if it's water-based clay, you can thin down your Vaseline with xylene and just paint a very thin layer on, almost like the spray paint would be. Jones, can I help you, buddy? I think he just knows that you guys are here, so he wants to pop in and supervise. These are little moving blankets that I got for the dogs. They're not laying on the concrete. Hey Jones, thanks for your input. I appreciate it. You're an excellent manager, sir. Happy holidays. I enjoyed my Christmas bonus. Goodbye. Andy's gone. Okay, now we can get back to work. Now that your cat, now that your cat needs are met. That's what Jonesy was here for. So Shannon does not need another spy. She's probably watching the feed over from the house while she does wife stuff. So I like checkers. I'm a checkers guy, but I find the rules of checkers to be very wishy-washy. Some people are like, if there's a jump, you have to take it, and I've never played that way. Well, I have when they said I had to, and I sometimes lost those games, but yeah, I think you don't have to take a jump if you don't want to. Unfortunately, all my cats have a lot of personality. All of them. And I did say unfortunately, and I meant that. Okay, so I have teeth, and these teeth are okay, but I need to refine their shape a little bit. I'm going to do that with my Kemper W21, so it's going to allow me to really get these sharp. And so water-based clay is like a mud puddle. And if you think about how mud puddles work, if it's a really wet mud puddle, you run your finger through it and then all the water fills in because it's thin mud. If it's a dry mud puddle, you run your finger through it and it stays this big crevice. You know, it stays exactly where you put it. So you kind of have to let the clay dry out a little bit. It has to be a little bit dry to get the teeth. So you kind of put the teeth on and they're like mud blobs and they always look like chiclets. And then you go back once it has dried up a good bit. No, this is what Pumpkinhead's nose looks like. Like, I'm going to say that my Pumpkinhead likeness isn't that terrible. I wasn't happy with it when I started, but I had no reference. And once I was able to get reference, it tightened up quite a bit. Also, I want the teeth to have a dimension
this way. I don't want them to just be flat pickets. So I'm going to go in and take away some of this up at the top, so the tooth really kind of builds out. And I want all of them to do that. The drier your clay, the more detail it will hold. And our brains tend to simplify most images. And the teeth all kind of have their own shape. Each tooth has its own shape, its own geometry. And you kind of have to honor that when you're sculpting, or else they're all going to look like chiclets. What game are you saying is a lot of fun, Christopher Lizotte? What game is a lot of fun? Yes, these are Xmas ornaments. Oh, Horrified. I got that for Christmas too. I got that for Christmas. I like it a lot. I haven't played it yet. And I'm going to have a hard time finding people to play it with me because, you know, if it's any kind of like monster trivia, people assume I'm going to be good at it and don't want to play it with me. But I don't know what it's on, what it's about. I will eventually. So the next time that I have all of the shop folks here will be next Sunday, a week from now. I don't like making people travel during New Year's, so I'm not doing anything then. And so it'll just be me and the wife on a few videos. And then next Sunday, we are going to organize the other part of the shop over there. It'll be live normal like tomorrow. Tomorrow's live, it's going to be a lot of werewolves. I've got 3 werewolves to hair and paint. And I'll have them all based out and ready to go when we go live. So I should be able to get all 3 of them done in one night. I looked over and the video was really fuzzy. And then I realized that's because I'm wearing my glasses and the video was far away. I'm still new to wearing glasses, and I hate it. Oh, I didn't even think about painting the minis, Cat Swift. That's brilliant. Someone tell Paul it depends on the moisture in the air. If it's really dry out, then the clay will dry out very fast. Clay around here tends to dry out faster in the winter time because it's drier. Yeah, what? Wait. Is Wednesday New Year's Eve? When is New Year's Eve? Because I don't know, and someone is going to mock me for not knowing. But I'm not a calendar person. I would say yes. Normally I am live, but if Thursday is New Year's Eve, then I probably will be live Wednesday, yes. And I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, now people are saying Friday is New Year's. So one of you is wrong. I heard Thursday and I heard Friday. So do I do a shop inventory to start the year? No, that's a great idea. I don't do that. No, I don't. It's a wonderful idea. I'm hoping that I'll be able to start the new year with no orders. I have a few orders up right now, but they're I'm working on them. And this weekend I get to work on a Jersey Devil. That's really fun. I'm splitting this back tooth to have a big crevice in the middle, and that is because molars have that. Molars are not simple teeth. They're really complex shapes. I love the movie Krampus. Christine, that's so awesome. You know what? We have had so many wonderful cards from people. And see, I'm a little weird. I don't necessarily like to say, I don't want to say who placed an order for what. I don't like to say this person sent me a gift. Every now and then, if they say it's okay, I will. We got some wonderful gifts from people. And I'm very moved and touched by you guys. That's for sure. So right now, this clay is kind of like a bar of soap. If you think about the consistency of a bar of soap, that is what I'm going for here. So is Pumpkinhead for me or for an order? That is an excellent question. It's for me. It is something that I wanted to make. It made it onto the list, and I got to make it. But I'm going to incorporate it into a couple things. I will eventually do a very Pumpkinhead-esque full stilt costume that I'm kind of excited about. Yeah, think about scratching a bar of soap with your thumbnail. I almost always go live on New Year's Day. I just think something to start the year for me is nice. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think 2020 has sucked. The way that 2020 played out allowed me to become a part of this great community that is you guys. So I greatly appreciate that. While there are negative things to it, there's also positive. This is ceramic clay. This is basically pottery clay. Wed clay, W-E-D clay, is a no-fire ceramics clay. I'm just picking at those teeth until I'm liking the shape of them. And one thing that I want to do is up in between your teeth. Hello, Gray. Good to see you on. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the second movie, Ezekiel. They were okay. You know what? Time has softened the pain a little bit, I think. I don't mind them. The Twilights are okay. Gray, it's good to see you on. Here is in between the teeth, up here at the top. I take out a little bit of material because a lot of people have a bigger gap up here, and then their teeth press together down here a little bit. That's where food gets stuck in your teeth. And I think that Pumpkinhead gets people stuck in his teeth. So we all make our own life choices. And the study of relationships, huge for sculpting. So what's the relationship between your teeth? When I'm sculpting of teeth, I often think of doors. Because when you hang a door on a building, I did that for a little while when I was doing metal buildings. You have to look at the gaps on the side of the door. Is it gapping at the bottom? Is it gapping at the top? Is it in there with a slight angle? And you tell that by looking at the edges. So looking at the edges of these teeth tell you a relationship. So right now, I would say yes. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Wait. Friday is New Year's Eve. I probably won't go live New Year's Eve. Simply because y'all have other stuff to do. Yeah. Yes. I probably won't go live New Year's Eve. I had not seen them in a long time, Horror Beauty, so I am watching the Twilight. I haven't seen the last 2 or 3 movies, so I just decided to rewatch all of them before I watch the last 2 or 3, so I know what's going on. And are they my favorite? No, they're not my favorite, but I think they have value, and I think that they were a gateway drug kind of for horror movies and vampires and monsters. A lot of people who didn't like horror kind of got into that, and maybe they got into some other stuff. If Friday is New Year's Day, then yes, I'll go live Friday. This is a Kemper W21. Kemper W21. And I actually put orange tape on it so that I would be able to find it in my kit. And sadly, most of that orange tape is covered up by gook. But I wanted to be able to pick it out. And this is why when I made my other sculpting tools, when I made the sculpting tools, the plank tools that I use all the time. Well, hello again, buddy. Hey. Jones and Boris have come in to visit. So when I made my sculpting tools, I made them in that bright green plastic. A, that's still piece green, but also B, I want to be able to find them in my kit, you know. I'm okay with the Transworld date move. I don't think that it's going to be necessarily safe to do it in March. I don't think we're there yet. They're rolling out vaccines now, but you're not even going to have like 2%. And here is Jones. Just jumped right up here. Hey, buddy. Hello. I know. I know. Well, I'm glad that you feel that way, Horror Beauty. But Kemper W21. And there is Jones, who is all about it. He just wants to be in the way. There you go, bud. You've gotten plenty of camera time. And now they see your butthole, your life is complete. Because that's what cats are about. What is Transworld exactly? It does sound like a convention for maybe transsexuals or something, but no, that is the name of the haunted attraction trade show, industry trade show. It is where haunted houses go shopping, is the easiest way for me to say it. It is where haunted houses go shopping. So that is what Transworld is. And companies like Mr. Jimmy's Mask Company, My Mask Company, and Costume Company, and all the other crud that I do, all have booths there, and then people come by and we say, buy our stuff, or your haunted house will suck. That is a selling tactic that I learned from Mr. Jimmy. That's not true. I don't know how he sells stuff. I make my booth people, I'm like, listen, no hard sales. If they want it, they'll buy it. If they don't want it, then they're going to leave. I'm also kind of known to talk people out of sales. It's like, yeah, I can make that for you, but this guy over here already does it, you know, it's a little cheaper than I do it for, because he does it all the time. Yes, Transworld 2020 is happening in May. I believe it's 12th through 15th. Is that right, Mr. Jimmy? Or 12th through 17th, one of those? Yep, you gotta love it, Christine. You know what? I have an unnatural love for trade shows. 6th through 9th. Okay. 6th through 9th. I have an unnatural love of trade shows. Like even trade shows that aren't my industry. Because there's so many things that are there and kind of laid out for you. I just love that. And if I can see other industries processes, if I can see their products, then I bet I can apply it to what I do. So I love all kinds of trade shows. And there's an energy there that is hard to beat. Simply because everybody has worked their butt off to bring this product to the show, and they're proud of it. And I think, and they're hopeful. And I just think that energy goes out into the air, and it's wonderful. Alan, have you been to IAAPA? Yes, International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. I try to go to IAAPA every 3 or 4 years. My anniversary is November 20th. IAAPA is normally right around my anniversary, so I kind of have to work a anniversary trip to Orlando in. And you know what? My wife and I, we're not like heavy theme park people. We enjoy theme parks, but taking a week to go to Disney for a week, that doesn't really sound fun to us. A, I worked in theme parks for so long. I just don't want to do that. And B, you know, we could do a lot of cool stuff in a week. But yes, I've been to IAAPA. I love IAAPA. Cat Swift, that's important to do, I think. That's something that, yeah, I think they will come back because of honesty. How's the feed tonight, guys? Is there any slowing down or anything like that? I was having some rough internet earlier, and I was worried that the live would be very choppy. So what I'm doing for now, I'm going to be honest with you, this sculpture is mostly done. What I'm doing for is I'm looking for any mark on this that looks like what I would call a tool mark. So a tool mark is, instead of, I actually have a little piece of clay right here. You guys can see this piece of clay. A tool mark is this. When I do this to it, that just looks like I gouged the clay with a tool. That's a tool mark. And you have to go in and do what they call burnishing edges or trenching and knock these edges off, knock off these hard right angles, and then it's going to look more like a wrinkle. So you have to understand, is what I'm making a wrinkle or a crack? How do they look different? And see, that looks a little more natural, a little softer. That's still, even that's pretty heavy. And then I'm going to get a tool. This is a wire tool. So this is more likely to leave a tool mark because it's a wire. Think about the mark that a wire will make on things. I then will use a twisted wire. See that brass twisted wire? It will take a bunch of little bites because of that twist in that wire. And that will soften this even further and allow it to look even more like a wrinkle. Even softer. And different lights and the cameras will reveal different things to you. It really takes a while. And now that feels a lot softer to me. Now that looks a little more like a wrinkle. One of the reasons why this tool, it pushes the clay on either side, so you get automatically a little bit more of a bevel. Rather than starting out with just scratching a line, I got to secure that clay on there. So this actually gives you more of a bevel right off the bat. And then you go in, you bevel that further on those edges. But anyway, those plank tools came about from me thinking about the sculpture in cross section as opposed to a top view. But yeah, so I'm sort of checking this guy, and now I'm going to just run in some texture here along the jaw. And I have like a jabbed in texture that looks, I don't know, like I took a tool or something, but I just want to run some lines in it. And I want to give a direction of travel to this jaw, where all these lines are kind of moving in the same direction. They're not very deep, but they're going to impart a little bit of energy. Michael J. Lassiter, thank you for putting that on. Appreciate that. So something that I am doing on Patreon, I'm not going to hard sell Patreon. That's not my way. That I'm really enjoying a thing I'm doing called Thought of the Day, which is it's like a 2-minute video every day. It's just a random thought, and I'm really enjoying those. Always play with your tools. Contrary to popular belief, you won't go blind. Stanley, yes, that is always the intent. Yes, sir, I will still keep doing orders. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, Cat Swift. Can't prove nothing. Hello, Abdil Von Grave. Hello. Good to see you on, sir. That's interesting, Mike. What does your 12-year-old daughter think of the crazy fat old man that you watch on YouTube? Yeah, something has to happen over here. Probably just a little texture in there. It's going to be fine. I have the original raking texture on, and if the texture is what you raked out of the clay, that's not a good texture to leave on there. You know, because you weren't doing that for texture. You were doing that for a physical purpose. Hey Edson, good to see you on. So before the trans world happens, obviously now, and probably as early as next week, we're gonna start going hardcore on paint and getting that latex mask paint onto the website. Okay, so in this particular mask, James Whittle, in this particular mask, I have not thought about where the vision is going to be. I have not thought about where the vision is going to be. I am making the monster first, and then I will figure out how they see. A lot of the time, I end up compromising my sculpture to make it a better mask. I am always mask first, sculpture second. And that, I'm not going to sell as many masks that way because people buy based on the sculpture, I think, a lot of the time. Except for like experienced haunts, they know that if the actor's not going to wear it because it's not comfortable or they can't see or they can't breathe, then there's no point in buying that mask, even no matter how good it looks. So that's something to consider. But this one, I am very much saying, let's sculpt the monster true to form, and then I'll figure out how to see. One of the things that I want to learn how to do is I want to 3D print eyes that are round like this, but have holes in them for you to be able to see out of. And I know it's possible. I'll get there one day. So my hope is that down the road, that technology will catch up with this mask, and that's what I can do. I could always make a round form out of screen and put that in there, so that's possible. I think that I could get some of this tear duct action happening. That's not a lot of vision, but between some little holes here, little holes here, little holes here, and tear ducts, I think I'd be okay with. But I want this to be for a still character. So, and this might be something that sits right here on the bottom jaw is right here. So you're looking out of that big open mouth. And then as you move your head, you'll get even better head movement because it goes up. All I got to do is mount it onto a foam helmet to make that happen. So it's quite possible that this is going to be your vision. I have a lot of options. I already have a neck. I sculpted a mask that looks like a neck, where it's like your whole face is a neck, and then a head can sit on top of this, and then you've made a neck for your monster. So I already have that sculpture done, and I have it molded. We used it for a werewolf a couple times. So, you know what? I can't find perforated kydex. I was tipped off to perforated kydex from Jordan Bunt's Bounce, but I cannot find it pre-perforated in sheets in order to buy. I would love to do that and just vacuum form those eyes, but right now I can't find that material. If someone has a link to where I can buy perforated kydex, that would be amazing. I think if it's going to be a mask, it needs to be a mask first. But also, I don't want to handicap this sculpture either. Okay, Cat Swift. That is a great question. Rob, I would appreciate that. So, I prime plastic with a couple different things. One of them being, you know the purple PVC primer that they sell in Home Depot? I prime plastic with that quite a bit. And that really helps because it's a PVC, which is a plastic primer. It works pretty well under paints. And you can actually add some dyes to that primer. And normally I will add dye to that purple primer to make it black, and then I can paint over that. It's hard to make the purple white, so that's not the way that I go. Okay, and I'm just looking at this guy and I'm figuring it out. Yeah, I think this, even though that on the head this is not eyes, I think that's going to be the eyes right there. Very easy to take that out. And I have that. This side needs refining. Plumbing section. It's in the plumbing section. It is a purple PVC primer that they put on before they glue PVC together. But it primes the plastic, it opens up the pores, and it really allows it to take that paint better. Sometimes I also will prime the plastic with, but it's going to give a bit of a texture. I will prime the plastic with, hold on, spray adhesive, like a Super 77 spray adhesive. Yep, that stuff they rub on the end, the purple stuff. And then they let that dry, and then they put on the glue. But the primer is the big deal, because it works on plastic. Okay, so Michael Lassiter, that would be very hard for me to get to. If you could send that to me in a Facebook message, that'd be awesome. And is that Kydex or is that PVC? 1/8 is probably a good thickness, but I think I could even go thinner. And right now, it looks like I'm doing nothing. I'm just knocking down some texture that is too heavy. And I'm kind of just homogenizing this. What is the light doing? Is the light giving me too hard of a bright spot? That means I got to calm that down a little bit. I think we're really looking for Kydex, Michael, and I know they use that a lot for eyes on mascots, but I had a hard time finding it. I've only spent about 2 evenings looking for it, and that was a little while ago. Yeah, the teeth have tightened up quite a bit, so I'm pretty happy with those. I'll give them a final polish right before I mold, probably. Now I'm looking for anything that looks wrong. What looks like it's not finished? What looks like it's an accident? And I'm going to try and get up under here. It looks like it's an accident. What's happening up there? It's very poorly defined. Your sculpt should do a lot of defining what things are. I have to be able to look at it and know, is that bone or is that flesh? Is that tooth enamel or is that jawbone? Your sculpture should tell you those things. And that's not easy to do. Because we're sculpting with dough, everything that we're making kind of looks like it's made out of dough. So we have to be careful of that. And this was a smooth area that had no texture. And it's a chance for me to work these gums a little bit. If I establish a line, where does the lip stop and the gums end? That's a relationship. You know, the relationship between the lip and the gum, where does one stop and one end? I need to tell the audience where that is. In my brain, maybe I can see it, but I have to make the clay tell you. If I can't make the clay tell you, then I'm not a good sculptor. I want you to be able to look at it and know what it's made out of. If it wasn't clay and you touched it, what would it look like? You know, if it wasn't clay, feel. And I want you to feel that when you look at it. Masato, I was brought so much joy on Facebook. Apparently my Mothman post that we did on Stiltby Studios on Facebook, I think you commented on it and that let your friend see it. So a lady who is one of your friends, and she doesn't follow Stilt Beast, and she's not a friend of mine, she's not a creeper, but she commented something like, Yuck, gross. On one of the Mothman pictures. And she's a friend of yours, so I guess that because you commented on it, she was able to see it. And that made my day, that she went, yuck, gross. It was just so funny. Me and Shannon laughed about that. And, it, you know, that just goes to show you, sometimes you can be in your own little world, in your own little echo chamber. And that Mothman image for my friends and my associates isn't that crazy. But, you know, as it goes into the wider world, it sure does, you know, people aren't used to seeing that. And it's nice to be able to interact with the regular public, you know. Yuck, gross. The islet is pretty clean. Right over here, yeah, it does need a little bit of that. Right here on this edge. There's some clay there that needs to get, but it's pretty clean in general. There's a hair from a brush. Happens when you brush out quite a bit. Oh, Masato was wonderful. That is cleaner on the eye. Whose fur is similar to a pit bull, short and almost smooth skin. So there are some very nice, short, sheen, fun furs out there, and that's probably what I'd go with. Or you could go with something like a, yeah, probably like a short fur, and use that short fur as the skin. Think about like teddy bear fabric. Flocking over large sheets is just not a good idea. I think with any kind of bending or movement, you'd have problems. It works well when it's pretty tight. Is that a wife?
You all right?
I'm doing fine. I don't know how many we have on because I can't tell that stuff now, but it's a quiet night, and I am. Oh, you brought me some mulled wine. Thanks, wife.
You doing okay?
Uh-huh. I've already had a visit from my supervisor, Jones,
I see.
who jumped right up on the table while I'm working.
Okay. Upstaged. All right. You doing all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sugar.
Love you.
Thanks, wife. Okay. Just got a fun visit from the wife, and she brought me mulled wine, which I am not a drinker, but the mulled wine, it just tastes like Christmas. So, what month do I start prepping for the next Halloween season? You are assuming that I stop prepping for the next Halloween season. In a way, isn't my whole life prep for the next Halloween season? I think that it is. So, you don't stop prepping for next Halloween. You learn lessons while you're open in October or not open in October from other shows. You learn lessons that will help you that next season. So, yes. I really don't stop. Okay, now if I'm looking at this, yeah, that's pretty straight on. I like this side upturned lip more than I like this one, but I also like that they're a little bit different. So I'm probably going to try to put in this upturned lip over here, and maybe I'll ruin things. We'll see. Pretty sure that mulled wine is too hot to drink right now. Because this motion, it can't just be out, it's got to be up and back, because your muscles pull back this way when you're smiling. So it has to be pulled back. Yeah. and I don't want to move this whole blob because it's brittle now. It's like a bar of soap. I don't want it to break off. So I'm going to use a sharper wire to make sure I'm cutting, as opposed to moving. When it moves around like marshmallow when it's really wet. So I'm cutting that shape in. Yeah, because I was very bad at symmetry, I tend to over symmetrishness. I tend to over symmetry, but I was bad for a long time. Cat, my shop will constantly evolve. I'm going to be doing a bunch of full-size figures here for a while because I have a couple orders for full-size figures, and I'll be doing those. And that means I've got to change over some of the things in my shop because I'm not set up for full-size figures right now. But that cut in did allow me to do a little bit of which I wanted to see. It'd be nice to be able to paint those gums in there. And now I'm peeling this back a little bit at a time. Not too much, not too drastic. You know what? I'm on Top Chat over there, so maybe I'm not seeing everything. I don't think I am. Stacy, thank you for giving me a heads up on that. I'm not on live chat. There we go. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Ha ha! I have no privacy. That is my secret. I am always live. And now, this microphone will tell you if I pass gas in the other room. It's such a good microphone. Not that I pass gas in the other room. I go all the way outside. Because that's courteous. Hello, Graphic UK. My wife tends to give me this giant mug of mulled wine. I think she's trying to get me drunk and take advantage of me. I love this mug. You know what? We did have a wonderful Christmas. It was quiet, and I'm not really a drinker. I don't drink a lot. I do enjoy mulled wine because it tastes good. I wonder if we could shoot holes through it, like with the laser. That should work. That is something to try, Rob. Listen, guys, Graphic UK shows up, and now it's all about him and his dragons. And that is exactly what this live channel should be about. But yeah, what I'm doing is an excuse for all of us to hang out and talk to each other. That's how that works. So yeah, talk to each other about the things you're doing and your crafting and building accomplishments and what you're proud of. I want to hear all that. And okay, so some of you guys are kind of new here, and I just want to say there is also a Facebook group that is called Stilt Beast Live Creepers, and what it is you guys can't share your work with me here, but you can do it on Facebook. On Facebook, I can see what you guys are working on because you can post it in the group. It is a 100% positive group. You're only going to get positive feedback. If you ask for constructive criticism, you'll get that. But if you don't ask for it, you're going to get all the positives of what you did. And I think it's important to have a place to do that. Well, it should have some real good similarities to Pumpkinhead, because that is what I based it off of. Now I went a little bit off the rails. It's not exact for sure, but Yorktown, Virginia. I don't know where that is. I have been to Richmond quite a few times. When I have a friend who works at King's Dominion out that way, doing haunted house stuff. I used to live in Maryland. Many years I lived in Maryland. Yeah, I think Graphy UK's next out branch ought to be making a dragon and then making a silicone mold of all the parts in order to put together, because I think that would be a wonderful product. I was a little worried about buffering tonight. I've heard a lot of good things, but I was having bad internet experiences earlier. So okay, I do like that I pulled this over to here. That's nice. I'm real happy with this, guys. I'm feeling like this is real close to as done as it can be for now, because there's still going to be even more detail that I can put in later when it gets even drier. And anywhere that's too flat, I'm just sort of putting in some texture here. See, this is where I wish this camera could zoom, but it cannot. It cannot. It's not zoomable. But I'm just taking this loop, and this is like, right now, it's like a bar of soap. Imagine me taking a bar of soap and taking this loop to it. That is roughly what would happen. And whatever way I want this to flow are these lines that I'm looking at. So there are lines like this, and I forget the name for them, but there are lines in the face, and when surgeons have to cut in your face, they use those same lines so that the scar runs with a natural wrinkle. And I thought that was amazing. And learning about that, being able to study that a little bit, really helped my sculpting. Hooray, Adam. Yes, I saw that you guys did have a bombing. I'm glad that it wasn't as terrible as it could have been. Thanks, Blackcraft. And guys, I don't think I'm going to be on for another whole half an hour. I really feel, and this one I want to accentuate this structure that runs this way, and I'm going to do that by actually doing the lines the other direction. I'm going across it. And that's going to give this a lot more dimension than it had before. See, that's fat hand. You guys want to see what I'm doing, but my fat hand is in the way. Now we can't go back up here. Cool. Thanks, Michael. Sounds like a fun suit, Cat. Or Misty, I should say. You're talking to Cat, but I'm eavesdropping. Hello, Baba Daza. What doing? I am sculpting. And I haven't made these deep enough to change the flow of that line. I just wanted to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of dimensionality to it. And this calms those lines down even further by knocking off those hard edges. I'm burnishing now. Yeah, he did not survive his own device, so if there are small favors in those kind of things. I hate that anybody is that disturbed or having that much trouble where they have to do that kind of stuff. I tend to not really get angry at those kind of things. I tend to get sad, and I want that person to be better. I understand anger. Anger is legitimate, but it's not always helpful. I think anger is for the lonely. If you have a lot of people watching you and leaning on you, then I don't think that you can afford to be angry, because that's not how you help others. In my opinion. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a monster for a living. Thanks, Baba Daza. Angie, that's very awesome. Of course I will, Finn. That's how I roll. Now, it might be a while because I might not be working on him for a bit. But, you know, right now, I'm getting the sculpt done, and then I will work on the rest of him. I'll try to mold him maybe next week. Yeah, like this close, that does look Geiger-esque, doesn't it? And then I'll burnish again. Adam? What are you... You know what I haven't done is I haven't gone in and not allowed curse words on this channel. I guess I'll have to do that. Adam, I know that we're pretty open and we're all buddies, but I'd rather us not use foul language if we can help it. Yeah, this is that last 10% that a sculpture really needs to look finished. And they don't look finished. If you don't do this kind of stuff, they could always be better, you know. I actually think it was a accident, is what it looks like. And now I'm doing a lot of this just by the camera because I can't really see up here. But I know what it's supposed to do, and I'm just putting a little bit more in. Just that skin texture that it's going to have. It has the forms, little bits of fat and stuff that's happening underneath, and that's what causes the bumps and the wrinkles and such. But then the skin itself has things going on. And what I'm putting on now is the stuff that's just on the skin. I'm not doing anything that's deeper than that. So my phone, talk to text, loves the word gargoyle. I guess I typed it a lot early on when I got this phone because I was working on some gargoyles. So now it thinks any word that it can't understand is the word gargoyle. So I don't use that a lot. Now that head has more texture, it has skin value. Okay. All right, so I have just brushed this out quite a bit. There's some of that detailing that I just put in. Okay, so now doing this, I see that I don't like under that lip. So I'm going to work on under this lip. And this is that clamp that I'm putting right on the table now. I clamped it right to the table I'm working on. And I like that feature. But this was a hard corner for me, and I want that to be a little more rounded. So I'm just going in. I need more cutting power than this. See how thick that wire is? I need more cutting power, so I'm going to go to a sharper wire. And I want to take some of that hard, almost right angle out of that. And now that I have done that, now I calm it down with this again. And now this is perfect for what this guy has going on. In many ways, it's the right tool for the job. And knowing what sculpting tool is going to do what. Yeah, gargoyle. Loves the word gargoyle. It's all good, man. It's all good, Adam. No big deal. I get that it was a mistake. It's no big deal. And on my other channel, I actually have, filters where you can't cuss, like you can't say the F-bomb. I put in words that won't show up if you type them. So I've got to do this on this channel. This is a newer channel to me. I will go alligator gargoyle fishing. Yes, I will. Hey, Courtney Boozer. And now I'm going in, I'm putting in that lip texture, and that's a silicone tipped tool. And what's good about this is already soft, so you don't get the same kind of hard trenching that you get from a hard wire like this. So this softens itself a little bit. Alright, now I'm happier with that bottom lip. It's not as hard right angle there. Good night, Michael Lassiter. Appreciate you, sir. Okay, so again, this is Pumpkinhead. This sculpt is, I'd say, 98% done. I've got some touch-ups to do. But I'll do that right before I mold. So that's him. And I'm actually going to go ahead and wrap it tonight. It is 9:15, but that's okay. Tomorrow's Monday, right? Today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. So I'm live tomorrow, and tomorrow, 7 p.m., we're going to have a lot of werewolves. I've got a Wolfman 2020 to do, and I have 2 werewolves to do. One will be for me, and one's for the person who gave them to me. So tomorrow is all werewolves. So hopefully you guys can pop on tomorrow, and you'll see me finish out that Wolfman 2020 right there. And those two werewolves there, which are that werewolf and that werewolf, they're the same. And if I have time, I'll even get over here to Mikey Severe's werewolf, which you guys see right there. There you go. So these are big LED panel lights that I got from Home Depot. And I used to have fluorescents, and it's an amazing difference between these lights and the fluorescents. These are super bright LED panel lights from Home Depot. They're about $100 a light, but they are very worth it. So I'm about to end for the night. I've got to come over here now, and I've got to hit end twice. Because I'm not as good at this. All right, so you guys are awesome. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to say good night and go make stuff. See you tomorrow night. Go make stuff.